Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you aren't subscribed, go ahead and click that subscribe button. I have a story time for you guys, and this story time will be very interesting. This story time is about to have y'all like, what? For real? Y'all finna be like, what was she thinking? Like, y'all might think I'm dumb. Y'all might have some opinions on me after this story time. Y'all went to jail. I really went to jail. I just want to say I have learned my lesson. Like, I've learned from my mistakes. Don't be like me. Don't be like Ariana. Don't be like me, okay? Just don't do it. So this happened probably in like 2012 or 2013. I was already out of high school. I had just graduated, and my boyfriend at the time, he was still in high school. So I had my car, I was doing what I do, going to work. One day, I had just gotten off of work. My boyfriend was still at school, and he had asked me if I could pick him up from school and go take him to work. So don't come at me talking about, oh, he should have his own car, he should have his own house. No, boo. We were still kids. I don't know if I'm telling this story right, y'all. Okay, wait a minute. Let me back up. I was with my boyfriend, and I think the age difference was like a year apart. I was probably about 17 or 18, and he was like a year or two younger than me. We didn't live together, but I was always at his house. I had a car, and I think he had used my car the night before to go to work. The next day, I got my car back. That sounds real crazy. I got my car back. But I was young, so we're just going to skip over the fact that I was letting this man take my car, y'all. Okay, I was stupid. The next day, he had to go to work. So I dropped him off at work, and I started driving back to his house because that's where my stuff was. I had spent the night at his house, and I was going back until he got off of work. On my way back to his house or whatever, I noticed that my temperature little gauge on my car started to go from the middle of the C and the H to the H. Like, I think this means I need some coolant. I get to the QT by his house. I go into the QT and I buy the coolant. So I go and I turn off the car and I open my coolant. I'm like, I'm about to put this coolant in the car. Car's off, coolant is ready to be put in. I wait like 5 minutes because the car is obviously hot. Like, there's a little bit of smoke coming from it. So I'm like, all right, I probably shouldn't put the coolant in like this. Off to the side, there's a police officer. So the police officer see me struggling, and he comes over and he's like, oh, do you need help? Do you want me to put the coolant in for you? Like, what happened? So I tell him that my car's overheating and I need to put this coolant in the car. He's like, oh, no problem. I'll put this in for you. And my stupid self is like, okay, officer. The man put the coolant in the car, and he's like, do you mind if I start it? So I'm like, okay, start the car. Like, go ahead and start it. My stupid self said yes, y'all. So the police officer get in the car, he started the car, and he's like, were you smoking? I don't smoke weed. I'm telling this man that I don't smoke weed, and then I ask him, like, why are you asking me this question? Like, he's like, oh, I smell weed. He looking at me, I'm looking at him. He looking at me, I'm looking at him. And he's like, you don't have nothing in here? And I'm like, no. My car was overheating. Let me put my coolant in the car and go. He said something, y'all, and he opened my little ashtray. You know how cars have like a little ashtray in the front for like the people who smoke or whatever? He pulls open my ashtray, and there's a roach in there, y'all. So I start panicking. You know those people that be like, oh, I didn't do it? No, y'all, I really didn't know where this had come from. So he's like, this isn't yours? And I'm like, no, I don't smoke. Like, we can do a lie detector test right now. I don't smoke weed. He's like, whose is it? Y'all want to know who roach it was? It was my boyfriend, Roach. Y'all remember when I said that he had took my car the day before and had drove my car to work? He smoked in my car. So I told the officer, I'm like, it's my boyfriend's. It was probably like this fucking big. He's like, And I'm like, And he's like, I'm gonna need you to come with me. And I lose my mind because, come what you wear. He's like, we're gonna have to go down to the station. And I just start crying because what the? I'm in trouble for something I didn't do. So at this point, I'm freaking out, and I'm like, okay. The officer was really nice about it. He's like, oh, do you want your phone? I'll let you take your phone with you while we go down to the station because you have this weed in your car, and weed is illegal. So I'm like, all right, sure. So he gave me my phone, put me in the back of his police car, and he let me, before we leave, he lets me park my car, and he goes and tells the QT worker that we'll be back and not to have the car towed. He takes me to the police station, he books me, he does fingerprints, and I'm sitting there panicking, and my phone is on 3%, and he's like, I believe you. I believe that you don't smoke because a person who smokes wouldn't react like this. He's like, your phone's going dead? I'm like, yeah. Like, yeah, it is. I was cussing this man out, y'all. For one, don't smoke in my car. Like, why are you even smoking in my car? And if you are gonna smoke in my car, you could at least be smart about it and hide the evidence. This isn't even your car. After he do my fingerprints and I do my mug shots, he was like, all right, now that that's all taken care of, I can take you back to your car and I'll help you get it started. He said he was gonna help me get back to my car and help me start it. Like, what is happening? He's like, I'm not gonna, I think he said process or something. I don't know. I think what we did was him processing me or booking me. One of the words. I never been to jail. So he's like, no, I'm not gonna take you to the other side. I'm gonna help you out. Like, I'm gonna take you back to your car, help you get your car started so you could be on your way. In my head, I'm like, if you're gonna take me back to my car, what the heck are we doing all this for? You could have just let me go from the start. Like, there was no reason for this man to do everything that he did just for him to take me back to my car. He was charging my phone. So he was charging my phone, and before we left, my phone was blowing up because I couldn't answer anyone's phone calls. My phone was in the back with him on his charger, and everyone's calling me. I have so many missed calls, y'all. So many missed calls. Police officer helps me get back to the car, and he finishes putting the coolant in. It needed a little bit more coolant. I think I had like a leak or something. He put the coolant in the car, started the car. He was like, how far you gotta go? I'm like, oh, I'm just right around the corner. He's like, all right, like, are you good from here? And I'm like, yeah, I'm good from here. You've done more than enough. Like, you just took me to jail and brought me back. I don't need no more help from you, sir. I thought it was the end because nothing happened for like 2 years. Yeah, about 2 years later, I get a paper talking about I have to go to court. At this time, me and my boyfriend at the time, we have a kid together. I get a paper in the mail saying I gotta go to court. So I go to court and I meet with this public defender, and he's like, oh, you're gonna say you're guilty so you can get this, 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 and this. And I told him, I'm like, but I'm not guilty. And he's like, well, you can plead not guilty, but then we'll have to do this, 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 and this. So I'm like, man, if I pleaded guilty, I had to do something called task, and then after I completed like task for like, I think it was like 6 months or a year, they would just drop all the charges. I need the charges dropped, so we'll just go ahead and I'll do freaking task. I agree to task not knowing what it is. I'm like, what I gotta do? And he's like, oh, you're gonna call this phone number, and if you hear a color, you need to go pee in a cup so we can drug test you. So for about 6 months to a year, every freaking day, I had to call the number to task, y'all. Every time I heard the freaking color, yellow, guess who had to get up and go pee in a cup in front of a person looking at you through a little bitty door? Guess who had to pay every time they went to go pee in front of a person who was looking through a little bitty door? Me. Every day I heard color yellow, I was livid. I was getting drug tested. Didn't do drugs, and it was literally a hot mess. Like, it was literally the worst time of my life, having to call these people every day to listen to a color. I was listening for a color every day for like 6 months to a year. Every day, waking up, calling the freaking hotline to see if they calling your color, to see if you need to go pee in the cup. It was just ridiculous because, like, that's my record, you know. That's my records. I am happy that the charges got dropped and like nothing was held against me. I still think about this every day because that officer did not have to take me to jail just to go drop me back off. Why you gotta act like that? That is my story time about how my little poor self went to jail. Another video will be out soon. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Thank you.